friends, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about what to do this summer before grad school. So this is just going to be a really short video because a lot of the advice is the same. These are some of the things that were suggested to me, and basically there's not that much you can do before grad school because I mean there are things you can do, but it really doesn't benefit you that much to do them prior to starting grad school. So let's get right into this. So the first suggestion that I was given after finishing my post-bac, I was still living in Pittsburgh at the time, so a lot of people suggested that I travel and go on vacation, which I somewhat did. I got to travel and go see family, which is proving to be more difficult than I thought would be in grad school. So I'm really glad I took time to go visit my family, both in North Carolina and in Ohio. And then I spent a lot of time at home in Virginia. I spent, I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks or so at home, which was really great. Just because I moved so far, like in St. Louis, that I don't get to go home as often. Pittsburgh was only like a 6-hour drive home, whereas living in St. Louis is like a 13-hour drive. And it could be a flight, but I have a dog and he's older and he doesn't really, I don't know how well he will do on a plane, so it kind of makes things more complicated. So I'm really glad I took some time to travel. Some people suggest going overseas and going on vacation, because during grad school it's just a lot harder to navigate leaving and having absences, especially during the school year and even more so during the summer. The summer might be a little easier, but it's just hard because a lot of time in grad school your time is already sort of like allocated to things, and you don't really get the chance to be like, oh no, I want to go on vacation for 2 weeks instead of, you know, doing school stuff. And so for the next 4 to 7 or 8 years of your PhD, you know, your vacation time is going to be limited. And so a lot of people suggested that I go on vacation overseas, or just go on vacation, do weekend trips or whatever. And yeah, so that's the first suggestion. The second suggestion is what I actually did while I was traveling, was to get a job to save money. So I don't know if people are just have savings, if this is just like a me thing, but moving to St. Louis was so expensive. And just like the transition from Pittsburgh to St. Louis and then St. Louis to being in school, it's just a lot on a person's savings. And so what I did was I got a job. Well, it wasn't like I applied. I was offered a summer position at Pittsburgh, and so I stayed in Pittsburgh for the whole summer and just worked. And I worked like part-time almost, like maybe about 30 hours a week or whatever. And basically I used that time and just working to save money to pay for my move, to pay for the period of time in between like moving and like my funding starting in grad school, because sometimes your funding doesn't start until the end of the month, which is problematic because like if you started renting at the beginning of the month, you know, you won't get money until like the end of September, which is problematic in itself, but it's just the way grad school works at this point. And so saving money over the summer and potentially getting a job was so beneficial to me, because I didn't have any like extra savings. I didn't have like money coming in from my parents. It was just like really on me. And so I was really glad that I took time to save money and got a job, and it really helped out so much tremendously. So the next thing you can do is get organized. So unlike undergrad, grad school doesn't really have like a supply or a school supply list or anything. I don't know if your undergrad institutions did that, but mine kind of did, of things you would need. But you don't really know what you need until you're really in grad school. And so what I did was just make sure I had like pencils, pens, paper, had my computer, you know, had a backpack, had a like nice tote bag, and just make sure I had like the very bare minimum things of what I think I would need, because once you start you'll kind of learn what you need and learn from older students, but prior to that you won't know. So getting organized and making sure you just have the basics is really helpful. Another thing that people suggested to me was to do nothing. Sort of like what I said before is like in grad school, your time is already kind of like allocated and spent up on other things. And so your amount of time to do nothing isn't that much. And so a lot of people suggested to me that I just do nothing. You know, I spend the summer relaxing. I spend the summer binge watching shows and playing video games and reading for fun, which is what I kind of did. You know, I was only working part-time, so I had a lot of free time to do sort of what I wanted to do, which was really nice because during the school year, I haven't been able to like read anything or do some of the things that are really important to me. So I was glad that I spent some time during the summer doing absolutely nothing, and I highly suggest it. It was so great. The last thing, well, not the last thing, but some people also suggested that once you move to the new city that you move a few weeks before school starts. So once you move to start grad school, like move like a few weeks before so that you can have some time to just explore your new surroundings, find new restaurants, find out where the grocery store is, and find out all these like little things that you wouldn't think to do like once you've transitioned into school. Like I was so glad, like I moved here August 1st and school didn't start until like the 24th-ish, and so I was so glad I was here for like the 2 or 3 weeks before school started, because I found the grocery store. I was able to, you know, find restaurants, find places to walk my dog, find, you know, just things that I needed to know where they were, so that, you know, when I'm transitioning to school, I wasn't spending time trying to find out where things were, if that makes sense. It made the transition very seamless. So the last thing I'm going to suggest, and this is not like an endorsement and you do not have to do this, but I know that some people are just like really go-getters and really want to start their grad school journey early. And so what you could do is start doing, you know, lit searches on things that you are interested in, like your research interests. So for me, that'd be like racial discrimination, socioeconomic status, blah, blah, blah. So you could do lit searches and start compiling literature for like your thesis or your dissertation, and just start really working on those things and developing your ideas for like your thesis or your dissertation projects. You know, you could do that. I wouldn't suggest that because it's kind of like, there's gonna be times in the program where there's set aside times for you to do those things. And I don't think that you should spend your summer doing that because it's just not as fun, one. And two, I think that these things will come and you don't really need to jump at them right now. Like, it'll be okay if you don't spend your summer doing research or reading or whatever else you think you need to do to prepare for grad school. I really think that the summer before school starts, you need to spend doing what you want to do and not what you feel that other people think you should be doing. I absolutely did not do any research stuff. I mean, I was working, but I didn't do any research heavy things like besides outside of my job, and I was perfectly fine. I still proposed my thesis on time and it worked out fine. So you can do the same and don't feel pressured that you have to be like this research person already. You don't. So those are basically all the suggestions I have for you guys on what to do the summer before you start grad school. It is, you know, it's really exciting to be starting grad school, and I remember how excited I was, and I hope that you spend the summer doing what you want to do and having fun. And so that's basically it for this video. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram. I am in a better spot with Instagram and better posting, and so there will be new stuff on my Instagram coming soon. And be sure, if you have any suggestions of other things people can do in the video or in the summer, be sure to leave those comments below. And if you've watched this far, leave a summertime emoji. I know I didn't do it in my last video, I forgot, but leave a summertime emoji, and I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.